story time of how I caught my husband cheating on me with his sister. Yes, his sister. I am a female 28 and have been dating my ex-husband for 4 years and married for the last 4. Everything is going all right, except we are unable to have children, so we might consider adopting. Well, my husband, also 28 years old, works in the same hospital. I do so long hours and a lot of work, but I love what I do. A few months ago, my mother-in-law invited my husband and I over for dinner. We have dinner at his parents' house on the first Saturday of each month. She goes all out starters, mains and desserts. My mother-in-law is a saint, but my father-in-law isn't so great. He never speaks much to me. And that's fine. And his sister is a walking bank account drainer. She has had 4 jobs in the last 6 months and has quit them all saying it's a toxic environment and spends her parents' money on designer items and other stuff she can throw money at. My husband and her have been really close since childhood, that you understand they are siblings. But every time my husband would kiss my forehead or cheek, she'd give me this horrible look, and whenever I try to speak to him, she butts in and literally stands in front of me. I've spoken to my husband about this, and he just says, I'm overthinking things and being insecure. Fast forward a few months, and I was at work, and my husband got the day off. He said he was meeting with some college friends he hasn't seen in a while. I told him to enjoy, and I'll be home at 7 p.m., as I thought. I got to work and felt dizzy and tired, and next minute, I'm just down on the floor. My co-workers got me a plastic cup with water and advised I go home. My co-worker Selena offered to drive me back, so she dropped me off at my house since I took the bus today, and we only have one car, and my husband has it, so I go take a shower and grab some medicine. After a while, I started getting bored, so I went to the backyard to do some gardening time flew by, because I checked, and it was already 4. I go back into my kitchen and wash the dirt from my hands when I notice my husband's shoes at the doorway and his sister's designer jacket on the coat rack. I don't see them in the living room, but I hear noise coming from upstairs. So carefully, I creep up, and through the crack in our bedroom door, I see my husband, with his sister, sprawled out on our bed. He was touching her face as she grasped the back of his neck. I stand there for about 3 minutes, processing what is going on, when I take out my phone and take a video of them and a picture. Then I walk in and announce myself. My husband looked pale-faced and remorseful, while his beach of a sister smirked at me like she was proud of this. I scream at them both to get out, so they did. Later that day, I get angry messages from his family members, including his mother and father, saying I'm a horrible person and shouldn't be so jealous of a sibling relationship. Either you're telling me this is completely normal, or his sister has told them a whole different story. His mother said she couldn't believe it, and his father said, I'm a horrible beach. The only person I texted back was his father and asked what exactly was told. He said I screamed at his daughter when she was dropping off something she bought for me. I said nothing, but I only sent the video and photo. Now it's a year later. I'm living happily on my own peaceful life. And did I mention I'm hooking up with my ex-husband's dad? My insane mother-in-law started walking around the house naked after seeing me and my husband having sex in the shower. Hi, everyone. I got a lot of comments, I think from some of you from my relationships post as night, and was invited over here to share my story with all of you. Here's the text from last night. I am at my wit's end. I'm seriously on the verge of leaving my own house if things don't get better, and I really just can't take much more. My husband and I have been married for a year, dated for 8. Part of the reason it took us so long to get married, I think, is because of his mother. She pretends to like me and treat me decently in front of him, but you know when someone is just pretending to be nice? Yeah, that's her. My husband has seen her true colours since we first started dating, but about 6 months into our marriage, we were able to be civil and cordial to each other. Recently, his mum had a surgery that requires a longer-term physical therapy. After crying and moaning over just not being able to manage, my husband finally invited her to live with us temporarily, without consulting me first. Of course, she's over the moon and has decidedly made our home her home. She's messy to a fault, then blames me for it. Clingy with my husband, barges into our room without knocking first, interrupts conversations, and so on. It's grating. The shit has now hit the proverbial fan. My mother-in-law was supposed to be out to dinner with a friend of hers, and so the hubs and I decided to have some much-needed alone time, seeing as we hadn't had much since his mother has intruded on our lives. To spare you the squishier details, we were having sex in the shower when his mother, who was supposed to be out, burst through the door and let out this ear-splitting scream loud enough to shatter glass. Of course, we immediately stopped, but she kept screaming, eventually throwing towels at us to cover up, and that we were indecent in a Christian home. She literally stood there and watched us wrap the towels around ourselves before she flounced out of the bathroom in fake sobs. I was mortified and apologized right away and said I was sorry for having to see what she saw, but we hadn't expected her home. She put on her faux nice act and said that all was fine and that she had grossly overreacted to the situation. All good. Yesterday I came home and discovered her topless in my living room. I was really thrown for a loop and asked her what the hell she was doing, and she told me that seeing us the other day made her realize that nudity was natural and that she used to be naked around her kids back in the day. I asked her to please cover up, and she told me she wasn't offended by my nudity that she witnessed and that her state couldn't bother me either. My husband is pretending that nothing is wrong, saying that his mum will change tactics and let it go once she sees it isn't getting a reaction. But now she is going out of her way to be affectionate with him and myself with unnecessary hugs and touching and whatnot, and literally flaunting herself. We feel like we're prisoners in our own home and stay confined to the bedroom with the door locked to avoid seeing her. Every time I see her now, I feel sick with rage, and she just smirks while commenting on how free she feels without her clothing. I've told my husband time and time again to deal with the situation, but he says to ignore it and it'll go away. I'm on the verge of throwing all of her shit straight onto the lawn. I'm at the end of my rope. In somewhat of an update, I exploded on my husband last night, crying, shouting, the full ugly meltdown. Wine may have been a contributor to this. The clincher? I left the room to go put my laundry in the dryer when I saw my mother-in-law naked, using her injured arm to rummage through our pantry for food. She's been faking being barely able to use that arm. The gauntlet has been thrown. It is me or her. My husband has sworn that he loves me and that MIL will be out of the house within the next couple days, as soon as he can make other arrangements for her. In the meantime, I have packed a bag and left for my sister's. I refuse to look at my mother-in-law or otherwise acknowledge her existence as I left, despite her persistent and gleeful questions about where I was going, despite seeing my bag. Ugh, I knew she was crazy. I did not know crazy reached these depths. I feel uncertain, anxious, and just so upset. I hate her, and I resent my husband for bringing into our lives like this.